Let's take a look at these Defiance funds. Here we are. I was just looking at this one, IWMY. It's down 21 cents a share on an earnings per share basis this month so far. Triple QY, on the other hand, is only down 15 cents a share, whereas JEP is also down 15 cents a share. So they're all three off to kind of a rough start. IWMY has a $1.14 estimate on the dividend right now. This one's rough, though. It's only 38 cents. I mean, my gosh, it's because this one day there was hardly any extrinsic earned. I thought it was a bad print, but I never did get a correction on it or whatever. So it'll average out. Maybe some days you just don't get that much extrinsic. I can't believe they sold an option for that little extrinsic, but on the other hand, they got an inordinate amount of intrinsic. So maybe they felt the intrinsic made up for the extrinsic that they did not get. But in any event, this one's running at 38 cents, but I expect that to continue to improve. At this point, I'm not using the microphone. I think the microphone's worse on a windy day. When it's windy, I had to do my lunch report 3 times because the microphone kept screwing up, and I finally just took the microphone out and just spoke loud. So that's what I'm trying to do now. All right. But in any event, all right, let's look at, okay, JPY, $700,000 winner today. Triple QI, $2.3 million winner today. That is gigantic. IWMY made about $1.3 million out of $1.4 million. There's that market finished just in the money. Let's take a look at it. Look at that. Just right at the finish line. It just finished right in, I guess, just right inside. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Well, it looks like looks like the profit box was drawn pretty accurately, or if that's exactly what I was trying to represent, that should be a small loss, or not a small loss, a small difference from maximum. Maximum would be achieved if the market closed to 2065. We'll look at the buffer report in a second for the week. I went ahead and fixed it where the stocks the next dividend for the week. I've adjusted them in the buffer report. SPY T today. SPY T did its job. It made its points. It made $8,500 today, $10,000 yesterday, $10,000 the day before that. It's doing its job. It is doing its job. Now, today also, if we want to talk about SPY T for a second, today the market went high enough. That's when SPY T is going to shine, on days when the market's up more than 1%, 1.5%, 2%, something like that. Because what that does, SPY T has capped upside, just like all covered call funds do, to a certain point, and then its upside is uncapped. SPY T's upside became uncapped at 51.75 today, and the market went another 34 handles or 29 handles past that. So those 29 handles, those were captured, and SPY T will get capital appreciation instead of being just totally capped like most covered call funds would be. Most daily covered call funds, when it's over the strike, or not most, all of them, when it's over the strike, they're capped out. All right. Are any of you guys leaving comments? I wonder where I look at the comments. I always forget how to do comments. I was doing so many live meetings before my meeting last week with, or I guess it's the week before last with Jay, because I wanted to learn how to use this. But then lately I haven't been doing any, and I forget where I'm supposed to look at comments. Gosh darn it. Well, anyway, I'll just talk and you guys can just listen. All right. Well, let's look at the buffer report. Let's look at this since I worked on this for a while today. So these are the YMAX stocks mainly. They're the single name stocks. They're down here on the right-hand side. They're the curve stocks as well. The YMAX ones had an ex-dividend day within the past, within the time of this chart. So I had to go in and make an adjustment, but all these have been adjusted. So you see Tesla did not lead Tesla on the downside. That's good. We cannot say the same thing for NVIDIA and Coney and Misty, though. It was kind of a rough week for the high flyers. The high flyers really pulled back this week. The former high flyers, the ones that have been flying high for the past month, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Coney's been on fire, Misty. Anyway, if you look at the 30-day on the single name, you know, Misty's up 21%. I mean, so it's still, even with the pullback, it's still killing it. Even with the pullback, NVIDIA's even, you know, but where NVIDIA's down. So, I mean, this is great. Outperformance there, outperformance, Coney outperformance, Misty outperformance, Tesla outperformance, OARC outperformance, AMZ outperformance. Doing really good over the longer time frame, but over, if you look at just this week, a lot of them pulled back pretty hard and had worse performance than their benchmark. All right, so here's the index funds, but so these are not YMAX. These are mainly, these are Defiance, but also just a lot of companies. A lot of companies in here, Morgan Stanley and BlackRock. In any event, the indexes really didn't do much on the week, down 1%. I mean, that's S&P down 0.75%, NASDAQ down 1%. That's really nothing for a week, right? As far as the change goes. But if you look, Triple QY had a really good week. So did JEPI. And of course they should, because a cover call fund ought to do well when the markets, they ought to outperform when the market's going nowhere, which is basically what the market did. And just about a lot of these funds outperformed their parent asset. Bali outperformed, Poppy outperformed. It's saying on here that Tress outperformed, but I don't even believe that. I've been having data problems. There's no way Tress outperformed anything, is there? I mean, Tress is, I just stopped checking its price because it just kept going down every day. I mean, it's not very much fun to follow. It's going to be one of those things that's just going to kind of bleed until we have a volatility event, and then it'll, you know, and then it'll be awesome. But anyway, okay, so let's zoom out here. Let's zoom out and take a look at Tress. All right, so there's Tress. There's since inception for Tress. You can see the dividend coming out right there. And right here, that looks like the dividend coming out, but it wasn't. It was just a day that it was just getting killed. The last time the dividend came out, I believe, was right here. In any event, I mean, there's got to be a data issue with that report. What was it saying? It said Tress is up. I mean, on what time frame? This is supposed to be a week. So So that's today. So no, it's not. Maybe when you add in the dividend, because I did add back in the dividend. That's what it is. When you add in the dividend, it is actually up. Well, I made the chart where it adds back in the dividend, and it doesn't appear like it's up. I think that's a data problem. 5 days ago, the price was 1763. This is so aggravating to me why this always does it. So this ought to be super easy. You know, daily error. This is just data points. I don't see what there's Tress and TLT comparing them. There's the price of Tress right now, 1738. Maybe that's the problem. I don't think it's really that high. Why is it? I bet that's the problem there. Well, it says 1738 here, but maybe that's after I adjusted data for dividends. Maybe if I take that off, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I don't have a lot of confidence in the Buffalo report because there's no way that's right. Tress is not up over any time frame you look at, but I don't understand how it can't. It's almost like it can't not be right. It's just data. That's the price there, 1738, and that's the price 5 days ago, 1748. So it's not up. I don't understand. And when I say I have data, there's when I'm checking the formula, and the formula it's adding back in the dividend, but I don't know. All right. Well, it's obviously there's no such thing as the data's not right. It's obviously something I've done. So anyway, I'll probably spend all weekend trying to figure it out. I guess it is up when you add back in the dividend, but I don't understand why on this chart when I add in the dividend it doesn't appear to be up. Adjust data for dividends. Huh. All right. Well, aside from Tress, YBTC is just killing it also. But that's also I'm suspecting something's wrong here because Maxi just trades. Maxi, what does Maxi do? They own Bitcoin futures and they sell SPX options. That's right. YBTC though does covered calls on. It's not on Beto, and Beto is the benchmark I'm using for all these. So maybe the covered call business on Beto is one heck of a lot better than the futures business. I guess that's possible. Covered calls do better in pullbacks. Futures have no downside protection. A covered call has a little buffer by virtue of the premium it brings in. So in any event, interesting. Okay, so here's a 30-day. Here's 30-day on all the single names, and this is a pretty good way to look at how they're all doing. And on a 30-day, we have a ton of outperformance. Things look good. Nothing's really underperforming drastically or even at all that I can see. I'm trying to figure out how to get to the chat. If you guys are put anything in the chat, I'm sorry. I think what I did before, I have a burner account. It says video unavailable. See, there's anyway. It says 12 of you guys are watching, so maybe I can open it up over here on a burner account and then go to the comment section over here. All right, I got to turn the volume off there, blah, blah, blah. See if there's any comments. I still don't know how to respond as myself. I could respond in the burner section. Anyway, you guys aren't leaving any comments anyway, so it's all good. It's all good. At least I know where they are, though. But on the buffer, on the 30 days, seriously, everything looks good. 30-day indexes. I see outperformance everywhere. Look at JetQ outperformance, Triple QI outperformance, FEPI outperformance. Everywhere I see outperformance, not Tress. Tress is a different deal, but all the ones that are supposed to be outperforming are outperforming. Look at Poppy. Yeah, Poppy looks nice. XYLD outperformance. YBTC outperformance. I mean, everywhere's doing what it's supposed to do. This is the extrinsic game working. QDTE is the only one I could see on this list, and this is over a 30-day time frame. You know, you can look at the single day, the 1 day, and you'll have all kinds of them that sometimes maybe underperform, although not today. Well, yeah, actually, they're all underperforming today just because the market's up so much. But when you go out to 30 days, you can get a better idea of how these things make money and why they do. But Poppy's just piling it in there, up 3% in 30 days. I mean, that's awesome. Everyone talks about how good FEPI is, and it's a good fund. I'm not knocking it, but it hasn't had as good of a 30 days as Poppy, or as Poppy has. SPY Eyes looking great. Look at JEPY outperformed the benchmark over 30 days. That's incredible. That's incredible. The only thing that looks somewhat troublesome is the weekly results, especially for the big four: Tesla, Coney, Misty, and Viddy. Boy, they really pull back hard. Really pulled back hard. Well, it's a pretty day. I think I'm going to go maybe to the dog park or something. Take these dogs maybe to do something. They both look kind of bored to me. All right. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will